Here's a very nice example of the Nikon FE 35mm film SLR camera. This is a very nice model camera for the student or the film photography enthusiast because in addition to aperture priority auto, it also does allow fully manual exposure control. So you can use your creative mind to select the settings that you want to use. This one is in pretty good condition. I have two of these. I've decided to sell one of them. They're both about the same, and so I picked this one. I'm going to put this one through the basic paces and prove that it works here. And so let's first remove the lens. Set that aside a moment. And let's step down through the shutter speeds here, starting at 1/1000th of a second. 1/500th, 1/250th, 1/125th, 1/60th, 1/30th, 1/15th, 1/8th, 1/4th, 1/2, and 1 full second. And this camera actually goes several more steps beyond that, which is a little bit unusual. With this one has a 2 second, a 4 second, and an 8 second. And we can see here while this is open that it's the shutter is all the way open, showing the pressure plate and back. And there's 8 seconds. This one also features an M90 setting, which is a 90th of a second fully mechanical. So even if your batteries run out while you're out in the field, if you can shoot at a 90th of a second, you can still be in business. And it's got the bulb setting, of course, where it stays open as long as I hold the button down. The self-timer works here. We're going to flip that down and cock it. And what it does is it locks the mirror up, and we see the shutter curtain is in the back there. And the shutter fires and the mirror returns when it's done, so that works. If we set the camera aside and look at the lens here a little bit, at f/16 we can see the aperture blades from both sides. I don't see any oil on them. And if we work the little lever, you can see extremely quick. So certainly very functional. Nice clicks on the aperture ring. This lens is the AI type, so it will work with the cameras made after, I believe, around 1977 or 78 they came out with the AI. And before that, this one's backward compatible with the prong used on the Nikkormat and the Nikon F and F2. If we look at the focus, it works in and out. It feels just a little bit, there's a little bit of backlash between when it's changing directions. So I'm going to point that out. It's certainly fully functional, but I would think it would have been designed to not have that in there. So when you're changing directions, you wouldn't feel a little bit of a space there before it starts going the other way. So anyway, I'm pointing that out. We'll mount the lens back on the camera, and we can verify here that the stop-down preview lever works. And if we run this at a longer shutter speed, we can see that the blades definitely close very quickly. If we look here on the top, this one has a very nice locking shutter speed selector. You have to push the button in the middle to take it off the auto section if you want that. And over here we have for exposure compensation, and over here is for setting the ASA. That's down right against there. We turn that. So you can set your ASA to 400 or whatever you're going to use. It's got a little battery check switch here, and I know in the bright light you can't see it, but I do see a little red light. because I put some batteries in here just for the purposes of this test. They don't come with the camera, but they're in it just for this test purpose. This camera has a little added security for opening it up. You have to flip this little lever before you can pull up on the rewind crank to pop the back open. If we look here, we see the shutter curtains are looking very good and working nicely. This camera has about the smoothest film transport, film advance that I've ever seen. We can see this working very nicely with this very smooth stroke. If we move over here to the back, pressure plate looks good. If we feel along the edges here, that's pretty clean. A little bit of sticky residue right here. Looks like light seals at some point here will need to be replaced. They don't look too bad, but I would replace those pretty soon, I guess. This camera also has the removable back door for optional backs that you can put on. Very easy to snap that in and out. There. Back closes properly. Nice film rewind crank made out of metal. And I don't have the original lens cap for this, but I've got this focal push-on cap that fits. And it will serve the purpose of protecting your lens. I didn't see any fungus down in the lens. Sometimes these Nikon lenses almost look to me like there's a little bit of a haze in them, and I don't know if it's just that I'm not looking at them exactly right when I look toward the bright light, but looks pretty clean and clear here. So I'm going to set that apart for a moment here, and I have this this case. It's a Nikon case. These did not withstand the test of time very well, these cases from the 70s. And then I also have the manual, and in the manual there's a little bit of writing we can see, but in good condition. And it's got the this warranty paperwork with the serial number that matches the back of the camera, 4074813. So this has always been with it. And the camera fits in the case properly, goes around the strap lugs and closes, snaps on the back. A little bit rough condition just because of the material that it's made out of, but certainly functional. Very good camera for somebody looking for a nice Nikon to build a system with.